from calm seas to roaring winds. From coastal lighthouses to the highest peak in Wales. This is our road trip from Derby to the wild heart of North Wales. Buckle up. The adventure starts now. With my friend accompanying me, the highway stretched out ahead of us, leading west towards the rugged beauty of North Wales. The adventure began early in the morning, leaving Derby with that familiar excitement that only a road trip can bring. By afternoon, we rolled into Colwyn Bay, greeted by the sound of waves and the salty breeze of the Irish Sea. The coastline shimmered under a patchwork of clouds, a peaceful prelude before the wildness that awaited us. From the promenade, a small cliff rose at the edge of the bay, its rugged face catching the afternoon light. Curious, we left the main path and followed the shoreline towards it. The sound of waves grew louder with each step until we stood at its base, looking out over the water from a higher perch. From up there, the bay stretched wide and calm behind us, while ahead, the coastline curved away into the distance. While out at sea, a row of offshore wind turbines stood tall and still against the sky, harnessing the power of the waves and wind. Our eyes were drawn not just to the wind turbines in the distance, but to a lonely jet ski cutting across the sea, leaving a white trail in the calm waters. We decided to follow the shoreline to see where it had come from, hoping to get a closer look at the rider. We eventually came close to a tractor parked by the water's edge, the very spot where jet skis were being loaded and unloaded into the sea. A few people were already out in the deeper waters, zipping across the waves and carving white trails. From the calm shores of Colwyn Bay, we drove west through winding coastal roads, the sea always at our side, until we reached the far edge of Anglesey, home to the iconic South Stack Lighthouse. But nature had other plans. Heavy winds whipped against us, mist rolled in from the sea, and the air was thick with the raw power of the Atlantic. Standing there, with the lighthouse barely visible through the swirling fog, it felt like we'd stepped straight into a maritime legend. With the wind howling in our ears and the salty air stinging our faces, it felt less like sightseeing and more like stepping into a scene from an old mariner's tale, a place where nature still calls the shots. A narrow bridge connects the island to the mainland, reached by a long descent of stone steps cut into the cliff. Unfortunately, by the time we arrived, it was past 4:30 p.m. and the lighthouse gates had already closed. We couldn't step inside its premises or climb the tower, but even from the outside, the sight was unforgettable. What struck us most were the thousands of seabirds nesting on the cliffs around the lighthouse. From puffins to guillemots, they clung to the rocks in great numbers, their cries echoing across the bay. The sea crashed below, and the wind howled through the cliffs. Standing there, we could only imagine the life of the keepers who once braved these same storms. After soaking in the wild beauty of the lighthouse, we made our way back up the endless stone steps to the visitor center, where the wind was still chasing the mist across the cliffs. Instead of heading straight to the car, we followed a narrow path that clung to the edge of the headland. To our right, sheer drops plunged into the churning sea. To our left, windswept heath stretched into the distance, dotted with seabirds taking shelter in the grass. As the evening light began to fade, we left the cliffs of South Stack behind.
In a quarter of a mile, your destination will be on the left.
By nightfall, we reached our hostel. Our hostel was set in the heart of Llanberis, just a short walk from the serene waters of Badan Lake and the Snowdon Mountain Railway Station, from where the mountain train would take you to the Snowdon summit too. We called it a night because tomorrow promised something even bigger. Our trek to the summit of Snowdon, the highest peak in Wales. The next morning began early, with a cool mountain breeze. Boots laced, backpacks ready, we set off on the Llanberis Pass, one of the most popular routes up Snowdon. The excitement of the climb had truly begun. The trail started gently, winding past stone walls and green meadows, with the village slowly fading behind us. As we climbed higher, the path opened up to reveal a vast slate quarry, silent now, but once alive with the sounds of miners and machines. Each step carried us higher, the air fresher, the views wider, and the mountain itself looming ever closer on the horizon. As we followed the Llanberis Pass, our eyes kept drifting to the narrow tracks of the Snowdon Mountain Railway, snaking its way from the station all the way to the summit of Snowdon. The mountain seemed alive, shrouded in mist, hinting at the adventure that awaited us at the top. As we looked at the track, it reminded us of the hill trains in Ooty and Darjeeling, also built during the British era. The rack and pinion mechanism was visible in action, helping the train grip the steep slopes as it climbed. One could clearly see the sharp angles it had to negotiate to reach the summit, an engineering marvel that made our own climb along the Llanberis Pass feel even more impressive. We also spotted a small cafe along the trail. Few hikers were taking a well-earned break there, sipping hot drinks and sharing stories. A little further along the path, we caught glimpses of the train slowly crawling uphill, with an engine pushing a single carriage filled with passengers. Trains typically depart daily from 9 a.m., with varying schedules depending on the season and weather conditions. It is highly recommended to book tickets in advance, especially during peak seasons, as trains can fill up quickly. We paused for a short break, catching our breath and soaking in the mountain air. As we looked up, the Snowdon Mountain Railway train had already climbed much higher, crawling slowly but steadily toward the summit. The fog added a magical, almost mysterious atmosphere, making the final stretch of our trek feel like a true adventure into the unknown. We could just make out the train beginning its descent, slowly crawling back down. After staying in the queue for a few minutes, we finally conquered the Snowdon summit, an exciting moment in this whole journey. After spending some time at the summit, soaking in the breathtaking views, we decided to climb down via a different route, the Pig Track. This trail promised another slice of heaven, winding past crystal clear lakes and rugged mountain ridges. By this time, our stomachs were growling, so we decided to take a short lunch break and enjoy the packed food we had brought along. As we settled down, we were pleasantly surprised by a curious seagull that joined us, hopping around and eyeing our meal with obvious interest. We continued along the Pig Track. Soon, we reached the stunning Glassland Lake. Its serene, deep blue waters nestle perfectly among the rugged mountain slopes. The calmness of the lake, contrasting with the challenging climb we had just conquered, offered a perfect moment to pause and reflect. The surrounding peaks mirrored beautifully in the still waters, making it one of the most picturesque spots of our Snowdon adventure. From Glassland Lake, we followed the gentle flow of water trickling down to the next lake, Llanberis. As we continued our descent along the Pig Track, we came across the remnants of an old building, the Britannia copper mine. The crumbling walls and moss-covered stones, once part of the crushing mill and miners' barracks, told stories of a bygone industrial era. We finally reached Llanberis Pass. Tired but exhilarated, we hopped on the bus that would take us back to our hostel, reflecting on the incredible adventure we had just experienced. Along the way, we got a closer look at the slate quarry, its vast terraces carved into the mountainside. And that's a wrap, with our hearts full of memories, from the cliffs of Colwyn Bay and the windswept South Stack Lighthouse to the thrilling Snowdon trek, serene lakes. We packed up our experiences and set off for another adventure. Thanks for watching.